Motorsports Park is Julian Klaffenbach.
Kamil Pawlowski, Leandro Werler, the winner of the Prodigy Pass.
But he wins the Prodigy Racing League,
Heading to the Atlanta Motorsports Park.
It's Garrett Lowe to win the Prodigy Racing League,
Rupa Kirkipa.
Wins the Eastern region.
It's Nathan Maximan, winning and going to the Atlanta Motorsports Park, and he can't quite believe it.
The winner of a Prodigy Pass
Is Nathan Saxon.
and he's finally heading to the Atlanta Motorsports Park.
Oh my God.
But Matt Caruana's going to the Atlanta Motorsports Park. Guado Leo on his debut in the Prodigy Racing League.
Winner of the Prodigy Pass, David Dalton Jr. is Will Redford.
Is Cyril Zambra, and we'll be going to Prodigy Week.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the HOMESTEAD-MIAMI Speedway. We're here with the Prodigy Racing League for our third race event in the Prodigy 3 Championship. But today, it's all focused on esports and handing out more Prodigy passes and sending sim racers to live their dreams of becoming professional race car drivers. Racing Prodigy has been on a mission to democratize motorsports, to revolutionize the ladder, and to give opportunities to sim racers to gamers from around the world that never would have thought about it. In Season 1, more than 100,000 gamers from around the world competed, and we found 32 Prodigies, brought them to Prodigy Draft, and 24 of them have signed professional racing contracts. And while that all plays out in the background, Season 2 of our esports continues in the foreground. We've had some very exciting tournaments in the MX-5 and GR86, and it's time for us to hand out 4 more Prodigy passes today, courtesy of our Prodigy Search Selection Committee. What does that mean, though? Of our competitions, the top 25% were invited to submit a 60-second video resume to our esteemed panel of judges, and then whittle down to our Prodigy Pass winners, a very tough and tall order for our judges. And so let's introduce those with a bit more experience and wisdom than myself. They collectively have handed out 5 Prodigy passes in Season 1, and so Max Papis and Random CallSign join us once again in the Search Selection Show. Max is alongside me here at Homestead. Ricardo's back in London at home. So glad to have you both here. Max, let's start with you though, because you've been a part of this journey. You've been at Prodigy Week, and you've seen these sim racers show their potential as professional race car drivers.
First of all, great to be here again. It's awesome, being here in Homestead with you guys. Actually, if you wonder why I have a far suit on, I've been testing, the future car and making sure that we get something really special to work on for, what will be the future years.
Too.
Exactly, you nailed it. This sim racers proved to be more than worth it. Their commitment, their speed has been incredible, and the attention to details is equal to none.
It's quite remarkable as well, given that you have people like Max, Boris Said, Robbie Foley, a world-class set of coaches all helping these sim racers as well. Ricardo, let's talk about what you've seen as well, right? You were at the Prodigy Draft. You saw some of these sim racers live that dream, sign a professional racing contract. Now with all of that experience, seeing these drivers go through the journey, what are you looking for from these next batch of Prodigy Pass winners?
We're looking exactly for the same amount of things we've been looking in the past. We want somebody that is fast, committed, and really is working out for the future. They're not just fixating themselves just in sim racing, but also they have an eye out for something bigger.
And Max, you have a great line that I'm going to share with the world here. Don't let the pressure be bigger than the pleasure.
Absolutely. I'm sure that all of these guys, anyone listening and all the guys here, is their dream. Like it's been my dream. And the load that you feel in your shoulder is huge. But at the same time, you need to know that you're here because you belong. Yep. You've been picked amongst thousands of people. And now it's a matter of just be the best version of yourself.
And don't let that pressure be bigger than the pleasure. Absolutely. As we mentioned, though, we've had thousands, hundreds of thousands be a part of the Prodigy Racing League. We've had to whittle them down to 15 finalists, from which Ricardo and Max have picked their 2 Prodigy Pass winners. Let's start by announcing those 15 finalists before we whittle down the field just a little bit more. This, of course, starts with our MX-5 Prodigy Pass selection show. We've got the GR86 selection show to come, so let's dive into our 15 finalists who competed in the Mazda MX-5. We'll start with Aiden Pohl, the 26-year-old out of Los Angeles, California. One of the best search selection videos that I've seen, making his case for being the whole package race car driver, but media personality as well. Brandon Walker, the 25-year-old from Denver, Colorado, brings some experience in the real world into the sim as well, but an attitude of just trying to improve and consistently find some more speed. Dakota Fripp, the 27-year-old from Los Angeles, California, someone I've competed against in iRacing many a time, another driver that's done all sorts to try and get seat time in the real world, but the virtual world has been his main opportunity. Our first teenager in the Prodigy Search Selection Show for Season 2, the 15-year-old Diego Fernandez from Oviedo in Spain. Another one of those drivers with a bit more of a karting background as well, continuing to show his speed, though, in the world of iRacing. Elvis Rankin, currently based in Corby in the United Kingdom, from originally Show Low in Arizona, the 17-year-old competes now with Commander Esports, represents Porsche in the world of sim racing, but don't forget, a quarter-midget champion at the age of 4. Gal Cohen, the 19-year-old from Peru, Cusco, joins us as one of our Prodigy Pass selection show winners, finalists, I should say, and also one of the drivers that we've seen across the history of the Prodigy Racing League. George Robinson, the 16-year-old from Kettering in Northamptonshire in England. Plenty of speed and karting and stuff, and continuing now to show that in the virtual world as well. Jan Mataro Sanchez, the young 16-year-old from Flick, Spain, is another one of our Prodigy finalists. A look of intensity, but that intensity translates into commitment off the track in ensuring he continues to develop. Camto Chukwuera, who at this point, I think the 4th time, has made it into a Prodigy Search Selection Final. He actually competed last year representing his native Nigeria in the motorsports games, but now based out of Ireland. Cody Cosford, the 19-year-old from Scotland, joins us as one of our final finalists in the MX-5s. One of our drivers to keep an eye out for on the come-up. Matt Busa, the 30-year-old from Naperville, Illinois, a veteran of the NASCAR iRacing series for more than a decade, and someone that's been increasingly finding opportunities in the sim to real world. Nicholas Rice Puto, who's actually been at a handful of our Prodigy Racing League events, wanting to try and figure out what this entire show is all about. He's based in West Palm Beach, Florida, lots of Spec MX-5 experience, and a bubbly personality, to say the very least. Tom Katsadonis, who's currently based down in Adelaide, Australia, but moving to London in a couple of weeks' time to continue his dream of pursuing a career in motorsports, and one of our drivers that's a fixture in the finals of our Prodigy Racing League. Vasilius Belitsiotis, 16 years young, from Cologne, Germany. It was until the final corner that he thought he would be winning a Prodigy Pass in our MX-5 final. An unfortunate incident dropped him out of contention. This is his second chance. And last but not least, William Rasmussen, 16 years young, from Huntington Beach, California, rounds out our 15 finalists in the MX-5. 15 very worthy finalists as well, and I'm glad that I left the job of picking to both Max and Ricardo. There's a look at the 15 drivers. Nervousness, anticipation. I'm sure Max knows exactly what they're going through right now. But at this time, we will narrow the field to 4 finalists, 2 of whom will win Prodigy Passes and head to Prodigy Week in 2025. 2 of them will be runner-up reserve drivers, just in case they are needed to be called up to Prodigy Week. Let's reveal our 4 finalists, though, and show you their 60-second search selection video. And let's start with Vasilius Belitsiotis.
Being on the verge of winning one of the Prodigy Passes. I got crashed out on the last lap in the very last corner. And in that moment it felt like a whole world collapsed to me, because since childhood I've dreamed of stepping into a real racing car someday. But coming from a family without the financial means to support this passion, I turned to sim racing to fight myself back into real motorsports. And I think I stand out because I've proven I can compete at the highest level there is, and setbacks won't define me. Through hard work, determination and discipline, I've developed the skills and the mindset to transition from the virtual to the real racing world. The Prodigy Pass is my chance to make this dream a reality. I'm ready to prove I belong into the real racing world, and I will make the most of this life-changing opportunity. Thank you very much.
I've spent my fair share of time commentating on Vasilius in the top level of sim racing. But Max, talk to us a little bit about what he must be feeling after the disappointment of just missing out on the Prodigy Pass in his final.
Vasilius, good to see you. My question to you is, you did everything on track to be really, really good and try to earn this. I know that the defeat on track must have been, gut-wrenching. What made you stand back up and, try again?
I don't know if he's going to be able to answer us just yet, but hopefully we'll get a chance to chat with some of these finalists slightly later on. But I think it's the bounce back from adversity that you really looked at.
Absolutely. Obviously, and the speed that he showed that was incredible.
Let's talk about our second finalist then in this MX-5 selection show, Dakota Fripp.
Hello Racing Prodigy, my name is Dakota Fripp. I'm currently living in Los Angeles, California. I've been racing for about 12 years now. I started off racing in karting, then I did also sim racing at the same time. Went through karting, got to the point where I just couldn't really afford to keep doing it. Then I went on over to sim racing, competed at the pro level in sim racing for about 3 years, then went over to coaching and setup making and doing more pro events in sim racing. Then, got to a point where I wanted to do Formula Student, did Formula Student through my college. We raced regionally, nationally, internationally in Formula Student, and I was able to win in each discipline in Formula Student, karting, and sim racing. It's been a great journey for me, and I think this is a really unique opportunity where I think given my skills, I think I could do really well in the real thing. So.
And there is our second finalist in this MX-5 selection show, Dakota Fripp. Ricardo, what did you see from Dakota that stood out to you?
Well, he's incredibly versatile, and he basically doesn't back down. I like it. Really, really like that.
And you could hear as well the different routes through the motorsports world. I highly encourage you, if you aren't already doing it, go and check out your Formula Student program at your local college. Let's talk about our final two finalists, though, before we get to our winners. And next up, it is our third finalist, Tom Katsadonis.
I'm Tom Katsadonis. I'm 24 years old, and I'm from Australia. I've been a Prodigy Pass race and Search Committee finalist multiple times now, and I've been a consistent competitive force in both. Through these close calls and experiences, I've continued to sharpen my skills and learn what it means to compete with the best. I've come just short a couple of times, and now just need that tiny bit of luck to get me over the line. My passion for racing has fueled me to keep pushing, and people in the sim racing scene know that I'm going to keep coming back time after time to fight for my spot at the front. I want the Prodigy Pass because I want to take the next step in my development as a driver and a person. To take on the responsibility that comes in working at a team bigger than myself, working with engineers, mechanics to improve myself and the team, and to represent sponsors and work hard for all the people that make the on-track action possible. I want to make a sustainable future not only for myself, but for everyone that's involved in Prodigy Pass to keep the dream alive for all of us. For too long, racing has been ring-fenced by financial lines, and I want to do my part to push the Prodigy dream forward and start taking these barriers down for all of us, because without us, the fans, racing would be nothing.
And there is our third finalist. Once again, Tom Katsadonis finds him so close to a Prodigy Pass. What stood out to you, Max?
Tom, what stood out of you the most, it was your resilience. The fact that you want to do it and you wanted to do it very bad.
And he races from Australia, which means most of the time in our esports competitions, it's 2, 3, 4 in the morning for him. So never an easy endeavor by any means. One more finalist, though, for us to talk about. Let's learn more about George Robinson.
Hi guys, my name is George Robinson. I'm about to be 17 years old. My journey started when I was able to occasionally race karts in the UK and actually moved up through series as I got older, doing well along the way. but I was never able to afford enough seat time or good enough equipment. As you know, seat time is super important in racing, so I naturally wanted to do what I could to get myself more time driving. I saved and worked for money to upgrade my rig from a Thrustmaster setup on a desk to a Fanatec setup with an aluminum rig. With these, I was able to secure second in the first year of the Genetic Junior Esports Championship, only a few points from winning, coming 7th in the Mercedes Virtual Championship Season 0, going up against works teams such as Williams Esports, and most recently, 2nd in the PRL Mazda MX-5 Final 2 by less than 1/10 of a second. I'm going to do what I can to make a career out of what I love, and we'll see what the future holds. See you soon.
And our fourth finalist, a little bit dark for him, but Ricardo, what stood out to you about George Robinson?
Well, he's incredibly fast and has tremendous potential. He's doing all the right moves at his age and what he can do, especially trying to race and win in real life. And he's trying to transfer that into sim racing as well. And then coming in to racing Prodigy. So I really like the way he's doing it.
And I mean, Max, at the end of the day, how difficult was it from 15 very worthy Prodigy Pass winners to come down to these final 4?
Let me say a word to all the other guys that have not been selected. Has been extremely difficult. All of you guys deserve. You will have your shot. Unfortunately, we had to pick 4. And it doesn't mean that you have not been selected. You know, it means that you can try again. And has been one of the most gut-wrenching things to be able to try to find the difference between all these guys that had the same, very similar passion and the will to make it happen. So my message to all the other guys, you know, try again.
And I think that's what we've seen with a handful of our finalists as well. Ricardo, I'll ask the same thing for you. Like I said, you were there at the Prodigy draft. You've seen what these drivers are going through. How much more difficult was it for you to narrow down the field this time around?
I think this year was the most difficult I've had because Racing Prodigy is getting more popular and we have a bigger, wider selection of talent, and going through all of these guys was difficult. Even on these 4, you can sometimes just flip a coin and you'll get exactly the same thing. So you really need to figure out which one of these drivers may have the best potential, and it's incredibly difficult.
It is incredibly difficult. Like I say, don't envy the task you and Max had. With that, we've got our 4 finalists, only 2 Prodigy Pass winners. At this time, I get to announce that our 2 reserve drivers will be backups just in case the winners cannot make it to the Prodigy Week in 2025, an opportunity that someone like Jan van der Heide took with both hands. Let's eliminate one of our drivers as the second reserve for Prodigy Week, though, and narrow it to the final 3. Dakota Fripp is our second runner-up in the Prodigy Search Selection Show and will be a backup for Prodigy Week in 2025. And it leaves Vasilius Belitsiotis, Tom Katsadonis, and George Robinson as our 3 remaining finalists. 2 of these drivers are heading to Prodigy Week in 2025 to be tested in a Radical SR1 and to show just how quick and talented they could be. With that, our first Prodigy Pass selection choice of Season 2 and heading to Prodigy Week in 2025, Vasilius Belitsiotis. You see the emotion, you see the celebration as well. Congratulations to Vasilios, who will be heading, like I say, to the Prodigy Week in 2025 later this summer, and he'll get the chance in his Radical SR1. I can't wait to hear his reaction, to hear exactly how excited he is, and hoping that we'll get that opportunity in just a few moments' time. Oh, Vasilius, do you hear us? How you doing? Vasilius, can you hear us? Do you have a copy?
Now I can hear you guys.
Hey, Vasilius, great to hear you. You are headed to Prodigy Week in 2025. How are you feeling? You're going to get drive a Radical SR1 around a racetrack.
Arjun, a lot of things are going through my mind currently. Like, I'm absolutely overwhelmed by all the emotions. It's been something I've been fighting for my whole life, and I can now happily say that I made my 8-year-old self very proud by this. obviously it's a life-changing opportunity, so I just want to say a huge thank you to Racing Prodigy and all its partners, especially Racing Electronics and Wine Country Motorsports. I think it's absolutely incredible that something like this even exists nowadays, that sim racers like me have the opportunity to actually step into a real racing car. Like I can't thank you guys enough for what just had been done. But obviously I also want to say a big thank you to my family and to all my friends who always supported me along this journey. Especially a big thank you to my parents, to my father, who always was next to me and always supported me since I was a little child with everything I did. And I honestly can't wait till I see all of you guys in person this summer.
Ricardo, what stood out to you from Vasilios in the sea of videos?
Well, besides the fact that he was almost winning, and it was a bit gut-wrenching to not have him win, Vasilios is basically a sim racer story, and with Racing Prodigy, really want to do the E2 reel, and Vasilios is basically, I think, the best choice for that. He's incredibly fast, and I think he'll be incredibly fast on the Radical as well.
Thank you very much.
And Vasilios, before we let you go celebrate, how are you going to prepare for this? Obviously, you've got so much experience behind the wheel of the sim car. How are you going to transition into the real car for that very first time?
Yeah, I think one of the most important factors to drive in real life is also to be in shape, especially since how the year I've been trying to exercise nearly daily or every second day to keep myself in a good shape. And especially now, it's very important to be as fit as possible, as well as having a good mindset, a good mentality. So I will still, as said, continue the hard work till this summer to be in the best form ever.
Congratulations, Vasilios. We'll see you in Prodigy Week.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys.
I love the smile. It's what this program is all about. Max is enthused as well. But we've got one more Prodigy Pass to hand out before we wrap things up for the MX-5 selection show and move on to our GR86 selection show with two more Prodigy Passes on the line. Tom Katsadonis and George Robinson, two very, very worthy winners. Only one of them will be at Prodigy Week in 2025. And so heading to drive a Radical SR1 later on this summer, it's Tom Katsadonis. Tom, congratulations. You have finally secured your Prodigy Pass. Tell me, how are you feeling right now?
Man, that's unreal. I've been trying for so long since Prodigy Pass became a thing. There's been a lot of late nights, a lot of hours put in, and I mean, right now it's just going on 4 a.m. over here, so I can't be nearly as loud as I want to be. But I can't even tell you how much this means to me, and how many doubts there's been, how many times you start thinking about calling it a day, but when it's an opportunity like this, you just can't. And I'm so glad I just kept sticking by myself and believing in myself, because this is an unbelievable opportunity.
Max, what stood out to you from Tom's video?
Tom, first of all, congratulations. What I really loved about you is what you just said right now. They put you on your knees and you had the courage of standing back up and present yourself again. And question for you is, I know this is a big journey for you, it's a great opportunity. What is your plan to show me and everyone else that you got the speed to represent sim racing at the highest level?
I mean, in terms of what I'm going to do to show the speed, it's just going to be continuing what I'm doing, which is just practicing every day, looking at what I'm doing every day. It's looking at telemetry, it's reading, it's understanding what I'm doing wrong compared to some other people. And it's just about ramping that up. And I think part of making the transition to real life is the technical understanding needs to come forward a bit. So there's going to be a lot of research. Arriving on the first day, I'm confident that I have the speed in the sim. I'm confident in my capacity to learn, but it's going to be about letting go of what I think I know and being open to learning new things from the experts and listening to the coaches and listening to the engineers. So I'm an open book, and I'm ready to take on all the information.
I can tell you that you already have something that is really special. Your resiliency and your will to go out there and prove yourself already put you in a very rare fine air. So keep that as a strength that you have, and work on all the other part that can make you better.
Tom, a big congratulations from the entire Racing Prodigy team. You've been here since the start, and it'll be at Prodigy Week in 2025, finally driving a Radical SR1. Can't wait for you to be there. Just a reminder that George Robinson, Dakota Fripp, they are both reserve backup drivers just in case neither Tom or Vasilius can make it to Prodigy Week. So their journeys are not by any means done. And the other thing is, Max, you mentioned this before, they have a chance to submit themselves once again.
Absolutely. Listen, I was... my heart broke when I was watching there and I saw George, so anxious about it. Let me tell you, I've been in the same position, George. I've been in the exact same position. Right now, the disappointment is huge. But look at the fact that you guys made it and you were like this close. And if you really love what you do and you have the will to go out and attack again, this is an opportunity. It's not a loss. Use it as a way of proving yourself you can do it again. And the same things for all the guys that have been, missing out on this. I feel for all of you because from my heart, I would like all of you guys to be a winner. But unfortunately, life, that's not like this.
And I'm going to say it again because I've started applying it to my personal life. Don't let the pressure outweigh
be bigger than the pleasure.
Ricardo, before we say goodbye to you, I mean, it's so cool being here in Homestead. We have these sim racers competing wheel to wheel in Radical SR1s. You've been a part of the Racing Prodigy journey since the start as well. How do you sum up where we are right now?
Well, I sum up that I need a SR1 drive as well. That's for sure.
I'm really happy, Ricardo, that you shaved for us today.
Yes. I also shaved. Well, in terms of the Prodigy, where we are right now, it is incredibly strong, and with all the teams and all the sponsors, it's been quite a journey, and I think we're in a really good position.
That is very much the case. We've got 2 more Prodigy passes to hand out. We'll say goodbye to Max Papis, say goodbye to Random CallSign, and welcome in the Fittipaldis as we get ready for our GR86 selection show. Don't go anywhere on the Racing Prodigy YouTube channel. Motorsports Park is Julian Klaffenbach.
Kamil Pawlowski,
Leandro Werler, the winner of the Prodigy Pass.
but he wins the Prodigy Racing League.
Heading to the Atlanta Motorsports Park.
It's Garrett Lowe to win the Prodigy Racing League.
Rupa Kirkipa
Wins the Eastern region.
It's Nathan Maximan winning and going to the Atlanta Motorsports Park, and he can't quite believe it.
The winner of a Prodigy Pass
Is Nathan Saxon.
and he's finally heading to the Atlanta Motorsports Park.
Oh my god.
But Matt Caruana's going to the Atlanta Motorsports Park. Guado Leo on his debut in the Prodigy Racing League.
Winner of the Prodigy Pass, David Dalton Jr. is Will Redford.
Is Zyro Zambra, and we'll be going to Prodigy Week.
Motorsports Park is Julian Klaffenbach.
Kamil Pawlowski,
Leandro Werler, the winner of the Prodigy Pass.
but he wins the Prodigy Racing League.
Heading to the Atlanta Motorsports Park.
It's Garrett Lowe to win the Prodigy Racing League.
Rupa Kirkipa
Wins the Eastern region.
It's Nathan Maximan winning and going to the Atlanta Motorsports Park, and he can't quite believe it.
The winner of a Prodigy Pass
Is Nathan Saxon.
and he's finally heading to the Atlanta Motorsports Park.
Oh my god.
But Matt Caruana's going to the Atlanta Motorsports Park. Guado Leo on his debut in the Prodigy Racing League.
Winner of the Prodigy Pass, David Dalton Jr. is Will Redford.
Is Zyro Zambra, and we'll be going to Prodigy Week.
Welcome back to Homestead Miami Speedway. We're here for the third round of the Prodigy 3 Championship. But for today, focus now on the Prodigy Search Selection Show and our GR86 Finals. Arjuna Kankipati alongside with Enzo and Pietro Fittipaldi here at the track and getting ready to award 2 more Prodigy passes to send 2 sim racers to Prodigy Week to test a radical SR1. If you're just joining us in our Racing Prodigy journey, in Season 1 of our esports competitions, over 100,000 gamers from more than 100 countries competed on 4 different gaming platforms. 32 of them were invited out to Prodigy Week, and 24 signed professional racing contracts and are racing wheel-to-wheel here at Homestead. Drivers like Enzo and Pietro have plenty of experience and insight to try and figure out who the remaining drivers who have not earned their Prodigy passes on track but still have potential should be here. And so the top 25% of our GR86 standings were invited to submit a 60-second video resume, which our judges then had to whittle down. It's not an easy task, is it either? And so, Pietro, Enzo, so glad that you can join us. Pietro, I'll start with you, because you were at Sebring for the first time a couple of weeks ago, saw what these sim racers can do behind the wheel. How eye-opening was that for you?
It was unbelievable. You know, my first experience with the Racing Prodigy was at Sebring. I had actually tested there about a month before I went for the Racing Prodigy event. And just to be able to see, you know, drivers that have amazing experience on the simulators and a massive talent, being able to reproduce that on the real track as well. Because I wasn't sure what to expect when I arrived, and I was there coaching the practice squad drivers. And when I started looking at some of the videos and onboards, I was like, these guys are on the limit of the race cars. So for me, it was extremely eye-opening, very impressive, and definitely we can see that, you know, the simulators are correlating to performance on real track. So I'm very happy to see that, and I'm super excited for this initiative that Racing Prodigy is doing and giving experiences, real-life experiences to simulator drivers.
And obviously, you know, Enzo, you and your brother are both part of a generation of drivers who almost grew up in the virtual world as well, right? So talk to me about how the sim helps you prepare to go out there into the real world.
Yeah, so the simulator is crucial. It's an amazing tool for us drivers to prepare for our races. And me and my brother, honestly, we have our simulators side by side at home, and we race every single day on iRacing. We try and do at least 1 race a day just to stay active, especially through the off season. And we used to do championships as well.
On the F1 game.
Yeah, on the F1 game probably 1-2 years ago, and we had great drivers there. And to be able to see Racing Prodigy do this amazing championship where they get the sim racers and give them a real life opportunity, and just me being here today and watching some of these drivers out there, it's impressive how fast they are. So yeah, I'm super excited to see who the winners will be.
And of course, already 2 Prodigy passes handed out on track in our finals. Luis Belique and Pablo Espes winning on track. So we're going to find out who joins them as winners from our GR86 Cup. Pietro, what were you looking for in these videos, given that you have some experience seeing these sim racers transition their approach onto the track?
Yeah, so our goal was to select, you know, drivers that will, as quickly as possible, come into Racing Prodigy and already make an impact in terms of performance. Obviously, you need to be a driver that has a lot of simulator experience. You need to have success with the simulators. But as well, if you're able to have some real-life track experience, that would be a huge advantage to coming in and being on pace. So our goal, and kind of what Racing Prodigy said, is trying to pick the driver that you think will make the most impact as early as possible. So that's what we're going for, fast on the simulator, but as well having some real life experience. But also want to see guys that are really dedicated into improving their performance on sim racing and just keep taking it to another level. So those guys that have the dedication as well, that's what we're looking for. There were a lot of options and a lot of guys that could have won. And we were able to choose, 2 winners and 2 runner-ups, but it was very, very difficult.
Yeah, it was, I would say, very tough. Me and my brother.
We went over, it was like 2 nights in a row. We first made a list, we went over it over dinner, and then the next day we're like, all right, let's just take a look at it one more time just to make sure.
So we obviously went into it very in depth, looking at obviously the results of the race, the lap times, watching the videos, seeing what the drivers had to say, and I'd say it was a very difficult decision, but we were able to come to 2 winners and 2 runner-ups.
Because at the end as well, wasn't only just the results of the race, because we saw some guys that they might have had a good race result going and maybe an incident happened, so we're looking at kind of best lap times in the race, seeing if some guys at the bottom were actually maybe running up front. There was a lap chart as well, so we can see what position they were in at a certain time of the race. Their iRating, super important too, because I feel like if you have a very high iRating, I know how difficult it is, but if you have a very high iRating, it means that you put in a lot of time on the simulator to get it up there. So that, for me, shows your dedication and time that you're able to put into the sim.
It's a difficult process. They clearly have lots more thoughts than I would have gone into the process with, but it's such a difficult thing, trying to whittle down the hopes and dreams of our 15 finalists to just the 2 Prodigy Pass winners. And speaking of, let's introduce to you our 15 finalists here for the Prodigy Racing League GR86 Search Selection Show. Starting with Adam Garza, out of the United States, and someone that I saw plenty of speed from across of the Prodigy Racing League in our beginning to Season 2. Next up, Alessandro Bico. His teammate Vasilius Belitsiotis has just won a Prodigy Pass, but the Williams Esports driver competing at the top levels of sim racing didn't quite get the most from the car during his finals. Had just returned from a trip to Germany. We'll see what the Search Selection Committee thought of him. One of our older drivers in the field, Anthony Cuthbert, out of the United States, older than 30 years old, but age is just a number, as some of our drivers have continued to show, as long as you've got that approach, the determination to make sure your approach to the track is optimal. Ben Padden, 18 years young, and someone who approaches motorsport with a real enthusiasm. He's got one goal and one goal in mind, and that is to go racing, and Racing Prodigy might just be that avenue to get him to the next step. Brandon Walker, who was also in our Prodigy Search Selection Show for the MX-5, so a second chance for him, the 25-year-old from Denver, Colorado. Next up, David Bosga in the Grid and Go t-shirt. I've got to say, one of the funniest search selection videos that I've ever seen for the Belgian driver, showcasing his personality. It's not just all about on-track action. Emil Schultz out of the United States is our next finalist. Another one of those drivers very similar to Ben Padden, where you can feel the enthusiasm for motorsport and the willingness to do whatever it will take to put himself in those opportunities. Gabriel Paiva out of Brazil is one or more of our finalists. Don't know if we saw the most from him in our finals itself, but another one of those drivers where the potential is there and the approach is on track. Camto Chukwuera, our second driver in the GR86 finalists, who was also part of our MX-5 selection show. Another chance for him to get a Prodigy Pass. He's been so close so many times. Lukas Müller, the German, competes for Door Esports in the sim racing world, and we've seen him across multiple different sim racing championships, race winners as well in the Digital Nürburgring Endurance Series. Marcus Solholm from Denmark is taking viewers along for his journey through the world of sim racing. If you've ever wondered what it's like to compete in iRacing Top Split special events, go check out some of his YouTube videos that take you on that journey. Max Stallone out of the United States is one of our final 3 finalists in the GR86. Big smile on his face, and another driver with limitless potential. Our third driver in both of the finalist shows today, Nicholas Rice Pietro, competes in Spec MX-5 around the United States, and one that's hoping that Racing Prodigy can propel him to the next level of his motorsports career. And Pablo Maricat from Argentina. A technical issue for him, unfortunately, saw him deprived of a chance to fight towards the very front, but he still had an opportunity to show exactly how strong he is. And last but not least, William Augustine from the United States. That's our 15 finalists here in the Prodigy Search Selection GR86 Cup. And there are the faces of those waiting. Nerves for some, I'm sure. Some have already been in this position and waiting for quite a while. Much like with our MX-5, we will narrow the field of 15 down to 4 finalists, 2 of whom will win their Prodigy Pass and head to the Prodigy Week in 2025, 2 of whom will be runner-up reserve drivers if a winner cannot attend Prodigy Week. And so, let's start to introduce our 4 finalists and show you their 60-second video, starting with William Augustine.
Hi everyone, my name is William Augustine and I want to be a professional racing driver. It's been a lifelong dream of mine, and I've been lucky enough to do a bit of real-life racing, where in my first and only full-time karting championship, I managed to come home in 3rd, and in the SCCA and a Miata, my second ever sprint race at Sebring, I managed to win both events that weekend. Other than that, I really haven't had many other opportunities to drive in real life because of its high cost, as well as having just graduated from the University of Florida with a business degree. I really didn't have the most amount of free time to go racing, so I took to competitive sim racing. My unwavering motivation is what sets me apart from my competition. I've also been lucky enough to have been racing Racing Prodigy races since they've started and always remain competitive. From the early days at Ovals, where I blew a pit stop in my shot at the top, to now, where I just received my best finish in the series of 4th at Laguna Seca in the GR86 Cup car, setting the 2nd fastest lap of the race, I'm learning. I forced myself to adapt. Racing is something I feel like I can't quit, and every time I go out on track, I have to give it my all. That's what makes me different.
And so the 24-year-old from Florida sits there with nervousness, but now a anxious smile on his face. Pietro, I'll ask you, what stood out to you from William's video?
Well, I think, William's video, was straight to the point. Everybody's video was amazing, to be honest. We were looking a lot at the performance aspect of it. Like you said, he had done the 2nd fastest lap in the race. I believe he finished 4th. But what really stood out was his real-life track experience, which I think is very important. And from understanding the needs of Racing Prodigy and trying to get people that can try to make an impact as fast as possible, I think that real-life experience, it's for sure going to fast-track kind of the learning process from simulator racing to real-life racing. So I thought that was very important.
3 more finalists to work our way through. Let's show you the video for our 2nd finalist, Alessandro Bico.
Hello, I'm Alessandro Bico, I'm 21, I'm coming from Italy, and sim racing is not just an hobby, but it's an opportunity for me to go in racing in real life, because unfortunately I don't have this opportunity. I work all my sim racing life for this, with mental training, physical training, telemetry training, and study of the setup of the car. Compared to the others, I have constant dedication to improve myself, a quick ability to quickly learn from track experience, and analytic mindset, which I think is very important in this. And I'm also confident to be one of the best, thanks to my result. Just to give you one, I won the RX 5500, or podiums and win in the Porsche Sports Super Cup. I hope I give you all the ideas for why I should get you. This opportunity for me, it's a really big step for my life. And yeah, thank you for this. See you soon.
I've commented on Alessandro in many top-level sim racing events, but Enzo, I'll ask you, what stood out to you when you reviewed Alessandro?
I think obviously he's a great esports racer, and I was watching. I think I've seen his name many times in many championships. I watch a lot of virtual races online, and I've always seen him, fighting up there at the top. So he has a very good record and a very good career in esports. And me and my brother, we thought that he was, a great pick and a very fast driver. And he's obviously, very good on iRacing, has a very strong iRating. So yeah, that's a big reason why we picked Alessandro.
And I think some family members behind him sitting and waiting nervously as well. Let's talk about then our 3rd finalist in this GR86 selection show, Pablo Maricat.
Hello, I'm Pablo Mercerat, I'm 19 years old and I'm from Rosario, Argentina. This year I complete my studies and my goal in 2025 is to dedicate 100% of myself to sim racing and racing. I want to be one of the best. I feel that I should be chosen to compete in Racing Prodigy because of all the effort and dedication I put every week to qualify for the finals. I've been training a lot because I truly want this opportunity in my life. I do motorsport specific training to be ready when the time comes. On the day of final, my house lost its power supply and I wasn't going to let that opportunity. I reached out to my friends to ask if I could bring my sim rig to their house. I managed to do it. And an hour before the race, I moved the entire sim rig to their place, traveling 10 kilometers to get there. This caused me to lose 20 minutes of the official practice session, and those were my first lap of practice day. I managed to put in a good quali session and was able to fight for the race until lap 13 when my wheelbase disconnected and I lost all my chance of winning the gold. I feel that I deserve this opportunity more than anyone else.
I mean, just the dedication to move your entire sim rig before such a big event, I think speaks tantamount to itself. But Enzo, talk to me. What stood out to you looking at Pablo?
Obviously, when we get the results, we can see the lap charts every lap. And I know Pablo, he finished 13th in the race, but there was a reason for that. His sim had a failure, and he was actually fighting for the win until that point, and he was fast for that whole race, qualifying and everything. And like you mentioned, he had very little practice, came in and delivered. So yeah, he stood out. He was very, very strong in all the charts that we analyzed. So yeah, that's a big reason why we chose Pablo.
One final finalist then in this GR86 selection show in the Prodigy Racing League. Let's take a look at Lucas Müller in our search selection video.
Hi there, I'm Lucas Müller, I'm 24 years old and I'm from Germany, and for the past 5 years I did take part in the most competitive esports championships. I did take part, for example, in Formula E Sports, DTM Esports, DNLS, SRO Esports, ESL R1 and many more. So yeah, I did take part in pretty much every platform which is out there, which is one of my core strengths, just to be flexible and to learn new techniques very quickly, as I was a front runner in pretty much every sim. So I know how to be quick in a short amount of time, which I think is a very needed skill, especially for real motor racing, as you don't have the amount of practice time as you have it in the sim. And I actually had already the opportunity to show my real racing skills last year when I did take part in a Porsche and the RCN GLP on the Nordschleife, and we did quite well. I would say we did finish on the podium in our first race. And yeah, I definitely want to continue in the real racing world as it's just so much fun. And as the minute is already over, thank you for listening. Bye and see you soon.
Using all of the time allotted to him, and the Door Esports driver sits there. Pietro, I'll ask you, what stood out to you about Lucas?
I think Lucas had one of the most impressive sim racing resumes, I would say. Obviously, his I rating is super high up there, which for me, it shows a lot of dedication and time put into the sim racing world. And then his results and experience in competing in some of the highest level championships of esports in the world. I thought that was very impressive. So I thought it was important to have someone with that much simulator experience.
And he also had the fastest lap of the race as well. So that was very important.
Again, remember, those results in the finals are the first thing that in some ways you guys see in terms of the performance from the championship. So such an important data point to make sure you deliver. Much like with the MX-5's 4 finalists, only 2 will win Prodigy Passes. The other 2 will be runners-up, reserve drivers in case they are needed to attend Prodigy Week to jump into a Radical SR1, an opportunity you would never say no to. At this time, we'll eliminate one of our drivers as the second reserve for Prodigy Week. They'll be on standby and ready to go just in case. Our second runner-up for the GR86 selection show, Alessandro Bico. Alessandro, as I mentioned, competes in so many of the top-level sim racing events. And like Max said earlier, his journey's not done. It's just getting started. And so that leaves the 3 remaining finalists, 2 of whom know a Radical SR1 lies in their future. Without any further ado, let's not keep them waiting. The winner of the Prodigy Pass, heading to Prodigy Week in 2025, it's Lucas Müller. Lucas, you are headed to Prodigy Week. You're driving a Radical SR1 and you have a chance at a professional racing contract. How does that feel?
Oh man, it feels so amazing. I really didn't believe that it's gonna happen. So yeah, I'm a bit speechless, but wow. Didn't expect that when I wake up today. But yeah, I'm just super happy. And yeah, thanks to a lot of people. Obviously, thanks to all the organizers, to the sponsors, Racing Electronics and Wine Country Motorsports, to all of my friends who supported me for the last years and competing with me and practicing with me and yeah, setting laps after laps. And yeah, wow, amazing.
Congratulations. Congrats, man.
Enzo, you saw, I think, a lot in Lucas. What stood out to you from his particular resume?
I think he had a very strong resume. Obviously, me and my brother looked very deeply into the results. He was very fast in the race, set the fastest lap time, had a very strong finish. And as well, like Ken mentioned, he had already raced in the North Live, finished in the podium there in real life. So that's obviously important. He also mentioned something that's very important about the adaptability, you know, being able to jump in the car and be able to adapt very fast to any condition is very important. So yes, that's why we chose Lucas.
And Lucas, talk to us. How are you going to prepare now? Obviously, you've got so much experience in the sim, but now you've got to prepare to jump into the real race car, be tested, be evaluated. What's going through your mind? How are you going to build to this summer?
Yeah, definitely. Like, there's going to be a lot of work before that. So obviously the physical aspect in real motor racing is quite a big one. Luckily for me, I know some guys who are already in Racing Prodigy, so I'm definitely going to ask them what their program is for the fitness. Shout outs to Lawrence. See you soon. And yeah, just looking forward now to drive and to see like how I'm comparing myself to the others. I mean, I know a lot of the guys who are already in the league, and I've beat them on the virtual track, and now I'm looking forward to beat them on the real track as well. So yeah, I will give it like 110% and try my best to show that I'm worth of driving in real life.
Fighting words, and can't wait to see you at Prodigy Week, Lucas. Congratulations. We'll see you this summer.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
Congratulations, Lucas. Congrats.
See you.
So one more Prodigy pass to hand out to Pablo Mercerat and to William Augustine. The anticipation must have been building. The nerves must be at an all-time high. So once again, let's not keep them waiting. Heading to Prodigy Week in 2025 and winning their Prodigy pass in the GR86 selection show. William Augustine is going to Prodigy Week and driving a Radical SR1. William, congratulations. Tell me, how do you feel right now? Your dreams are coming true.
It's absolutely incredible, and I'm not sure if you could hear that. I have my parents screaming in the background. This is just incredible. I can't begin to say how much it means to me. This is something that, you know, I think Vasio said it perfectly. Just, it makes my younger self so incredibly proud to see how far I've come. And just thank you to everyone who made this possible, with Prodigy Racing, with their partners, Wine Country Motorsports, as well as Racing Electronics. I had this whole spiel of what I was going to say, and now that I'm here, it's just all going out the window. But just thank you to everyone. Thank you to my parents. Thank you just so much for the consideration for me. Thank you to Pietro and Enzo for their time. It means the absolute world.
Pietro, talk to me. William, I think you saw a lot in his video, didn't you?
Yeah, so me and my brother, like, we put a list of the drivers we would consider. And there was like a long list, and then Enzo picked one runner-up and one winner, and I picked one winner and one runner-up, and I had picked William. And I thought the important thing was, you know, he's fast on the sim racing world. He has a lot of experience with it, but he has real-life racing experience, which, in my opinion, is going to be very important to arriving here, doing a test, and being able to showcase your skills. So he has, you know, karting experience, and I believe he raced. Was the Mazda MX-5 that you raced?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. So I think those cars are quite similar in terms of grip levels to what you're going to experience here with the Radicals. So I feel like that's going to definitely put you way ahead of some of the drivers already here in terms of arriving and being able to perform on the spot. So I thought that was very important, and congratulations.
Congratulations, William.
Yeah, thank you both. I really appreciate it.
And William, before we let you go celebrate with the family that seems quite excited as well. How are you going to prepare, right? You've got this experience in the back pocket that will kind of help guide your journey in the next couple of months, but what do you think you need to focus on heading off to the summer?
So I think the main thing is just going to be fitness. I know these cars are going to have a lot more G-forces than what I'm used to. So just making sure I stay fit and continue my fitness regimen is going to be paramount. And just continuing to practice on the sim, make sure whatever track I go to, I dedicate the time to practice, since really in my mind, it's all about being adaptable to different cars and different circumstances. And that's what I think is the most important thing in transferring from the sim to real life, is just keeping that open mind and being a sponge and just being able to absorb all the information that you can. So just keeping up with fitness, keeping on practicing. And I have some mentors in the racing world as well, and just talking to them and making sure I take all the right steps. So that's, I think, what I'm going to do to make sure I'm prepared. And I'm just really excited for the opportunity.
Congratulations, William. We'll see you at Prodigy Week.
Thank you.
4 very worthy winners across of both our MX-5 and GR86 selection shows. But you had a tough task to pick just 2.
Yeah, it was really tough, man. Honestly, it was not easy. A lot of the guys that were on the list deserve to have the opportunity. And I, like me and my brother, we took a lot of time into it, because I know a lot of the drivers that were competing in this, you know, some of them don't have any real life racing experience, and it's very difficult to be able to get that opportunity. But we took it very seriously. We saw the list, we watched everybody's videos, we looked at the lap charts, we looked at the lap times, at their iRatings, even the rating for your driver's safety level on iRacing. We took that into consideration as well, because some guys might have a massive iRating but have like a C safety rating, which means you crash a lot. Both me and my brother have like a C safety rating, so we understand sometimes you take too much risk.
No, I have a B.
Oh no, you're B at like 1.1. Yeah, you're gonna get demoted a C like next week. But basically, we looked at all the aspects, and we wanted to make sure that we tried to pick the most well-deserving in terms of performance and experience. But it was very difficult, and we considered everyone on the list, and it took us 2 nights of like spending an hour each time and rewatching all the videos to come up with the decision.
And Enzo, I'll kind of ask you a question. This is your first experience at Homestead with the Prodigy Racing League. To anyone who's still, you know, maybe a finalist that didn't get to win, like Max said, their journey is not done, right? So what would you suggest that they continue doing so that next time they got a better chance?
Keep going, keep getting better, and just, keep training, keep racing, and keep trying to get better as a driver, get faster. And for sure, at some point, like the top 4 we picked, honestly, it was really difficult. Like, I feel like those 4 deserve an opportunity to come and have an opportunity in real life. So for me and my brother, it was really hard to choose. So that's why we took a lot of time to make this choice. But yeah, you guys definitely will get an opportunity. So never give up and keep pushing.
And well, I guess with that, it's time for us to wrap up from Homestead for our Prodigy Search Selection Show to kick off Season 2 of Esports. Esports competitions are still running, so head on to racingprodigy.com to learn more about how you can enter, buy your Racing Prodigy membership, and be a part of the rest of Season 2 Esports. We'll have more news to come about Season 1 and where you can watch the action from Homestead Miami on TV around the US. But on behalf of the entire team behind the scenes that's making this all happen, for Advanced Sim Racing, iRacing, MPI Racing Electronics, Solo Parent, Wine Country Motorsport, and for Wimna, Arjuna Kankipati signing off with Enzo and Pietro Fittipaldi alongside of me, Max Papis and Random CallSign joining us as well. What a day it's been, and 4 drivers are going to live their dreams and head to Prodigy Week and drive a Radical SR1. Gustavo Ariel is going to the Atlanta Motorsports Park. Is Julian Klaffenbach. Kamil Pawlowski, Leandro Werler, the winner of the Prodigy Pass. But he wins the Prodigy Racing League, heading to the Atlanta Motorsports Park. It's Garrett Lowe to win the Prodigy Racing League. Rupa Kirkipa wins the Eastern region. It's Nathan Maximan winning and going to the Atlanta Motorsports Park, and he can't quite believe it. The winner of a Prodigy Pass is Nathan Saxon. And he's finally heading to the Atlanta Motorsports Park. Oh my God. But Matt Caruana's going to the Atlanta Motorsports Park. Guado Leo on his debut in the Prodigy Racing League. Winner of the Prodigy Pass, David Dalton Jr. is Will Redford.
is Cyril Zambra, and we'll be going to Prodigy Week.